Okay, you are looking right now at a shot of Capitol Hill. You can see where the flag is flying at half-mast after this weekend's shooting in Arizona. A congresswoman is now in serious condition, and of course, six people were killed in that incident. Well, for more on the shooting in Tucson, members of Congress have virtually no security outside the U.S. Capitol. One thing that the nation learned this weekend. Lawmakers are wondering if that's about to change. And joining us now is our friend and Bloomberg contributing editor, Richard Falkenrath. He is the former Deputy Homeland Security Advisor under President Bush. He is now a principal with the Chertoff Group, a security advisory firm. Richard, thanks so much for coming in this morning to talk about this sad event. I mean, I was actually surprised to learn. I thought whenever Congress people went out that there was always a police presence, but it seems not the case.
No, that's right. They can request it for their events, but they don't have protective details when they travel around. Only the leadership have those.
So is this going to be considered? I mean, it would have to be after this weekend's terrible events, but not to be harsh, but that costs money, right?
It's very expensive. A protective detail for a dignitary requires about 6 people for every one who is on duty, and usually you need at least 2 to do an adequate protection for anybody. So that's 12 people full-time to take care of one person 24/7.
So, I mean, what do you think the conversation is going to be like this week among lawmakers? And we have so many people clamoring to cut costs. I mean, how is the sadness about what happened going to stack up against the cost?
So I think they will talk about it, and in the end, they're not going to create protective details for themselves. It's just too expensive, and in fact, most members of Congress don't want that. They want to be able to interact with the public, and they accept a certain level of risk when they do that because there are a lot of guns in this country and some deranged people.
Speaking of deranged people, the shooter was said to have graffitied some of the congresswomen's, I don't know, her office or her buildings or some things when they were discussing health care law. I mean, what about the shooter's mentality? Or is there any way that the American public, Congress people included, can be protected from people like this?
It's very, very difficult to do that. And he's not supposed to be able to buy guns because he had a history of mental illness. But there was a problem with the database so that his mental illness was never uploaded and he was able to buy that gun. But there are a lot of deranged people out there. There are a lot of people who are very upset about things they see going on in the country. Most of them just speak out or send, post on their MySpace.
I mean, as annoying as graffiti is, it's not the same thing as shooting somebody.
Yeah, these events are not, they happen sometimes, but they're relatively uncommon.
Do you think that for some people who are deranged that they're going to look at him as successful? I mean, are we going to see more of this?
It's possible. There have been copycat events before, but we certainly hope not. These things are sort of rolls of the dice. You never really know when it's going to come up. Every year or so, we seem to have some terrible shooting. We had one at Fort Hood, completely different motivation. There was one at Virginia Tech in 2007. It's very hard to predict when they will occur and what triggers the mind of the person who might do this.
So you mentioned this sort of technical flaw. Do you think that there could be discussion about updating databases and maybe spending more on the technology? If you can't spend more on the manpower to follow around every single representative, perhaps there could be an upgrade to some of the technology systems.
For the background checks for the purchase of weapons, people will probably look at why is it that Arizona had so few postings on the disqualifying mental illness database that these people are supposed to be checked against. The law permits it. I mean, this is one area, if someone has a mental illness, even in this country, you're not supposed to be able to buy a gun. But the states have to cooperate with that and actually post the names of the people.
So who actually is responsible for putting that information into the database? I mean, is it social workers? Is it the police?
It's the state public health authority have to post it on an FBI website, on an FBI database that is then checked against by gun shops when they sell handguns and firearms and that sort of thing.
And you're saying that Arizona's database looked light compared to other states, so that maybe people who were working at the state level weren't taking these risks entirely as seriously as maybe workers in other states.
That's possible. Yeah.
All right. Richard, thanks very much. Richard Falkenrath joining us there, talking about that terrible shooting over the weekend. As you know, a congresswoman is in critical care. 6 people died as a result.